Hello, welcome to your weekly dose of strength. So one of the most amazing phenomena about health is that you can actually take medicine. Once it gets inside of your body, it interacts with the anatomical functions of the body and literally can produce healing. That some chemical reaction goes on inside, and what happens inside has an effect outside in your life. Something simple, just taking your medication. The Word of God is medication. This is our medicine. Not so much so for the physical body, but for the spirit. And please make no mistake about it. The spirit can be just as diseased as the body. The soul can be just as diseased as the body. There's so many contaminants that attach itself to our soul. Our soul gets attached by the contaminant of shame, or the contaminant of sin, or the contaminant of wrong and improper thinking. These contaminants, they attach themselves to our soul, and then our behavior starts to reinforce that attachment. We find ourselves doing the things that we know we ought not do, saying the things we should not say, feeling the things we should not feel. It's because there has not been a healthy diet, a healthy infusion of biblical medicine, learning what the Word of God says and how we should act and respond to life. Jesus was very clear about how we are to use His words, that His words are not meant for poetry. His words are not meant for literary appreciation. His words are meant to be heeded, to be followed, to be done, that we should do what the Word of God says. Here's what Jesus says regarding this issue, and He describes it in this very poignant parable that has some very clear implications attached to it. Matthew chapter number 7, Jesus speaks in the 24th verse of that chapter. He says, "Therefore, whoever hears these sayings of mine and does them, I will liken him unto a wise man who built his house upon a rock. And the rain descended, and the floods came, and the winds blew and beat upon that house, and it fell not, because it was founded upon a rock. And everyone who hears these sayings of mine and does them not, I will liken him to a foolish man, which built his house upon the sand. And the rain descended, and the floods came, and the winds blew and beat upon that house, and it fell, and great was the fall of it. And it came to pass, when Jesus had ended these sayings, the people were astonished at His doctrine." What is Jesus saying? He is saying, if you hear these words I'm saying to you, if you hear my words and you do not act upon them, it's like having the medicine on the counter but never taking it. It's like having the answer available but never appropriating that answer for your life. His words are not meant to be casually heard. They're meant to be intensely followed. That when Jesus speaks, we listen, and He just got finished speaking chapter after chapter after chapter on what we call the Sermon on the Mount. Many scholars have said that this Sermon on the Mount is not given by Jesus in one sitting, but it is a compilation of many of His sermons over months and even over 2 and 3 years. And Matthew compiles them into this opening section of his book. Jesus intends for us to learn about worry and about prayer from His words. He intends for us to learn about the value of the treasures of heaven versus the treasures of the earth from His words. He intends for us to learn about the blessedness of the kingdom, what it means to truly be blessed, the meek and those who hunger and thirst after righteousness and those who mourn because of their sin. These are His words. He wants us to understand the beauty and the value of knowing God as our Father from His words. All that power, all that truth, all that spiritual medicine, it means nothing if you and I don't swallow the pill. So here's what I want to recommend that you do. First thing, I want to recommend that you develop the habit of meditating in the Word of God. Meditating in what God has said. Don't just read the Bible to check off that box in your devotional time, but read the Bible. Meditate on the Bible. Study the Bible. Hear the words. Listen to the words. The second thing I want you to do is when you meditate on the word, I want you to put yourself into the passage. It's not written to Jews or the Israelites, or it's not written about the Moabites or biblical people. It's written about you. It's his instructions to you. Put your name right in the text. Every promise that God makes, put your name in it. Claim that promise. Every prohibition that the Bible gives, claim that. Remind yourself of what not to do because the word says it. Meditate on the word of God and then insert yourself into the word of God. The last thing I want to remind you to do as you are making it so that the medicine gets off the counter and into the life is to bathe your time in the scriptures in prayer. Literally ask God to speak to you through his word. Literally ask God that when I read this, I want you to tell me how this applies to my life today. What are you saying that I should do today? And so why? Why do all of this? Jesus told us the rain is coming. He told us the storm is going to beat against your house. Your house is your life. Financial storms and health storms and family storms and marital storms. The rain is coming. Just as sure as you're watching this video, the rain is coming. And the only way you can be prepared for the storms of life that are inevitable in our life is if you have a healthy, solid diet of the Word of God. This is the medicine that heals the disease of the soul. Don't neglect it. Love it. Read it. Meditate in it. Ingest it so that it might cause your house to stand when the storm starts blowing. I pray that you've heard this, and I pray that it is sinking into your spirit and that you'll develop a love relationship with the Word of God. Well, this has been your weekly dose of strength. I love you dearly. God bless.